So today I'm going to walk you through a typical day in my life, but more importantly, I want to show you some things that I use in my daily schedule to be as productive or as efficient as possible. You guys know that I value my time very much, and I think a lot of people struggle with finding time in their day to accomplish something or being productive or being efficient with their time. Maybe they spend 8 hours a day on their phone, whatever it is. I think a lot of us just kind of struggle with that. And so I want to show you some tips and tricks that I use in my life to kind of plan and work through the day as efficient as possible so that I can spend time working, I can spend time doing things that are important, but I can also have free time in my day as well by simply planning it out correctly. So this isn't for everyone, this isn't going to work for everybody, and I'm not prescribing this to people, this is just what I personally do. So we're gonna get into this, and one of the first things that I think is important is sleep. And I've mentioned this before, but having a good night's sleep is incredibly important. It's the foundation of being productive or even just being happy in a lot of cases. If you have a bad bed, if you're sleeping on a piece of cardboard, if you don't have good pillows, I found that it can really put you in a bad position. There's the reason why there's a saying called that people wake up on the wrong side of the bed, right? Because if you're not sleeping well, you're gonna be grumpy for the rest of the day. So having a good bed, having good pillows, I have like 5 pillows here, is one of the first steps that I'll do to being productive. Setting a strict wake up time is another thing that I do, and I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but I always have a strict wake up time. So right now it's 6:27, just took a shower, just kind of got ready. We're gonna go out for a walk. I like to at least get some type of exercise, whether it's going for a run, just walking around, just doing something to get the blood flowing and go outside. I can't wake up and just start working or start doing anything until I move around a little bit. So we're gonna go do that now, see the sunrise, and then we will continue today and talk about how we can really become as efficient as possible. So it's really a great feeling waking up before most other people, going outside, getting some fresh air to really start your day. So generally from about 6:30 to 7:30, I'll find a way to get outside, walk around, go for a run, doing something to just get active, to really get the blood flowing. So we're gonna go over to the art museum right now. I also, generally when I start my mornings, I don't use my phone until roughly about 8 a.m. when I go back to make breakfast. So I keep it in airplane mode, and I just keep it back in my apartment when I go out and about. That way it just keeps my mind clear, and so I can focus on what I want to do during the day instead of being caught up in social media and thinking about emails that people sent me. And it's just a lot easier for me to do that and have my own time in the morning. So I really like to take this time in the morning to sort of reflect on my goals, make sure that I'm reaching them, and then do some more life planning, make sure that I am on track for hitting everything that I need to do for the week and planning for the entire month. But really, I like to start just very slow in the morning without distractions, without my phone, without other people bothering me, calling me, texting me. This is just a great time for me to do this in the early morning hours. So here we are at the art museum, and this is one of my favorite spots to just go up in the morning and watch a sunrise and just kind of get ready for the day. All right, so around 7:30 to 8 is when I'll come back. I'll check my phone, but before I do that, I want to make some breakfast. So I'll make some coffee. I don't like to drink coffee all the time, so sometimes it'll be tea, it depends. I don't like to be addicted to caffeine, but I'm gonna make some breakfast here. I'm gonna put some oil with the egg so that I don't burn those eggs. I don't know, you know. You guys know I don't have a coffee pot, I don't have a coffee maker, I just use a kettle, and I'll probably just make some eggs for breakfast. But this is gonna be the time when I can finally check my phone. Once I finish making breakfast, I'll sit down and I'll read the messages, I'll check my email, but I'll only do that for maybe about 30 minutes, and then I'll put it away, I'll put it in airplane mode again, and then I'll start working after I eat my breakfast from around 8 a.m. to about noon, give or take. Obviously, I don't have a strict schedule, but about 4 hours of that time we'll spend working. So let me just eat this breakfast really quick, and then we'll get on with the day. So from 8 to 12, I will sit down and I'll do some work. And I don't like to have distractions with this. I think this is really important to either put your phone in airplane mode again or put it somewhere else in a different room because that's one of the biggest distractions that people have. Also turning off notifications. Besides my notifications for my YouTube channel, turn off all notifications for your laptop, whatever it is, because you have things popping up all the time, emails popping up all the time, making sounds, so that you can really focus on your work. This is what I do. But there's really something that I want to bring up that I think is really cool, and I very much take it into consideration on a daily basis. So it's called Labyrinth's Law, and essentially what it states is that you should focus on the most important, most mind-draining things in the beginning of the day, because there's a lot of truth to it, that if you're working all day and then you try to work on an important task at the end of the day, your brain is not functioning as well as it might have been doing in the morning before that 12-hour workday that you might be doing. So this is why a lot of people who are trying to start like their own business or their own side hustle on the side will kind of find a problem where they'll go to work, they'll get back from work, and they'll be too drained to work on their own business or work on their own art projects, whatever it is. And so if you really have something that's important to you, do it in the morning, do it first. So this could mean working on your own business 3 hours before you actually go to work, because you want to prioritize your business ventures more than work. I don't know. It's up to you, but focus on those most important tasks in the beginning of the day, and it's something that really does work for myself. So I'll do a lot of planning here in the morning, and it's also important, guys, to stop trying to multitask. I don't know why people try to do this, but look, your brain can't go two separate ways at the same time. It just can't. So focus on one task at a time. Don't try to boggle multiple things and sort of juggle multiple things at the same time. It's really gonna just kind of set you back overall. That's not to say that you can't, say, exercise and be on a phone call with the client. That's different. But when it comes to using your mind, you can only put it in one area at a time. So remember that. But limiting all those small distractions, like I said, your phone, but also don't take out the trash. I don't really get up from this desk very often, maybe every hour. I'll walk around a little bit. I wish this was a standing desk. That's a whole different topic, but standing desks are much better than sitting desks. I'm gonna have to build that pretty soon for myself. So that's what I do from 8 to 12. Then from about 12 to 1 p.m., I will probably just go walk around a little bit. So during this time, I'll just get some exercise. You know, like I said, I really don't like sitting a lot. So just walking around town, doing whatever I want to do. I don't go out to eat lunch. It's just kind of a waste. It's so easy to just make a couple sandwiches very fast to avoid having to go out and spend money on food that I don't really need to spend money on. So from 1 p.m. until 4 in the afternoon today, I'm just gonna go to the Philadelphia Library, which obviously is free to use. You know, some people, when they go and they get some work done somewhere else, they wanna get outside the house, they end up going to a coffee shop or a cafe somewhere. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I do like to do that, but I just don't see the point in paying $5 for a latte when I could just go to my local library for free. And there's nothing better than free 99, right? So generally, for a few hours, I'll do this. Obviously, limit my distractions once again so that I'm just focusing on work. I'll keep my phone in my backpack. But libraries also have a number of other resources that you can use. So they don't just have books and free Wi-Fi, but a number of other resources and online resources that you can use through your local library. So roughly from 4 o'clock until 6 p.m. is when I'll try to batch all of my phone calls together. So whether this is talking with advertisers or doing some consulting for YouTube, helping people grow their channels, or just even calling my parents, calling my siblings, anybody, relatives, friends. I like to batch all of this together at the same time instead of kind of breaking it up and like hopping on phone calls at various times throughout the day. It's easier to do all of this at once. But this is also when I'll start to kind of wind down a little bit. I'll make some dinner, and then from roughly about 6 o'clock until 9:30 at night is really when I have some free time. And this is very flexible. This is something that changes quite often, but this time frame is always pretty much the same. So sometimes if I've done a lot of work during the day, if I've gotten a lot done and I'm ahead of schedule, then I'll just relax. Maybe I'll hang out with friends, I'll go to the rock gym, I'll do something fun. But if I haven't really been productive, or if I just need to get a lot more done, or if I'm really just excited or motivated to continue working, then in a lot of cases I'll just continue to work from about 6 p.m. until 9:30 at night. Then at about 9:30 until 10 is when I'll really start winding down. So what I mean by this is I put my phone into airplane mode, my alarm's set for 6 a.m., I'll put it on the other side of the room, and at this point I will likely just read a book for maybe about 20 minutes and then turn off all lights at around 9:50 p.m. And so this gives me about 8 hours and 10 minutes of sleep. I don't fall asleep right away, so I'd say roughly maybe about 7.5 hours of sleep total for myself, which works for myself. And you know, some people I know who need like 9 hours of sleep. They sleep like a panda, and then other people need 5 hours, 6 hours, and they're totally fine. For me, I like to get my sleep, so about 7.5 hours works for me pretty well, and that's generally what I do. And I do this for the most part 7 days a week, even on the weekends. I really try to stick to this schedule as much as possible. Obviously, if something comes up, if I have to go to an Eagles game, then I'll do that, and I'll work it into my schedule so that I'm working more during the week. But that's essentially what I do. That's my schedule. That's how I try to be as productive and as efficient as possible, and it's fun. I like it, I enjoy it, and I'm having a good time. So that essentially wraps up this video. Make sure you follow me on Instagram for more content, and I'll see everybody in the next video.